Hello YouTube and welcome back to another alternate history video. And today I got the 1992 presidential election, and this is the first time I'm actually doing an alternate history 92 election. And this has been one I've been wanting to do for a while, but I never got around to doing it. But I'm finally doing a 92 scenario, and this one is between the incumbent president still, George H.W. Bush, but against Democrat Mario Cuomo, who was the governor of New York back then. And of course, in '92, Bill Clinton, the governor of Arkansas, was the Democratic nominee, and he was able to win because Bush's popularity went down because of the recession that was going on and his broken promise of no new taxes. So that made his popularity plummet with his own party. And there was also a strong third party challenger in Ross Perot, who put on a great performance and even won some counties in some states. He didn't win any states in total, but any electoral votes, but he was able to do pretty good in several states, and that definitely took away a lot of vote from what would have gone to Bush most likely, and definitely helped Clinton win. And like I said, Bush's popularity going down from no new taxes, that broken promise, and the recession that was going on. But anyway, like I said, the Democrat in this scenario is Mario Cuomo, who, as I said, was the governor of New York back then, and I could see it being pretty similar. Although I could say Bush actually doing better because Mario wasn't a Southern Democrat, of course, like Clinton, and Clinton was actually a bit more conservative, a conservative Democrat. But I could see Mario regressing some, at least in the South. Definitely, I could see Bush doing better in the South, but I could see Mario pretty much doing great everywhere else like Clinton did. But getting into it, Bush did win states like Idaho and Wyoming, so I think he would still win them. Clinton actually won Montana, though. He had pretty good moderate appeal in this state. But I would say Mario is definitely more to the left of Clinton. So I think because of that, Bush would actually take Montana in this scenario. And of course, like I said, you have Ross Perot taking away a lot of vote. But like I said, Mario is definitely more to the left of Clinton, like on economic and social issues. So I think for that reason, Bush would actually win Montana since they would do better with the moderates in the state that voted for Clinton. I think it would definitely win Utah still, as well as the Dakotas, all of Nebraska, which I believe they go for him. I don't think Clinton won any districts, but I'll check that right now. So yeah, Bush did win all the districts and at large. So I think he would hang on to it in this scenario. Colorado actually did go for Clinton because he did go like in Denver around the suburbs and flip some counties that voted for Bush in the 4 years prior. I could see Cuomo doing the same. Really, I could see him winning like in around Denver, like Clinton did, and improve on that because, like I said, Bush's unpopularity and Bush regressing like in rural areas that definitely voted for Perot. A lot of areas in Colorado, so I could actually see Cuomo winning Colorado like Clinton did because, like I said, his performance around Denver and make Colorado more of like a swing state around this time. Same with New Mexico, and Cuomo would I think have pretty great Hispanic appeal. And I believe he was Italian, but I could see him definitely having that appeal being a minority himself. And Clinton winning it as well because of suburbs shifting left. And also Clinton did pretty well in rural areas, but I think Mario's suburban reform to be enough to win these states because of the backlash against Bush. I think it would take the West Coast here pretty easily because there were significant margins that Clinton took him by. And the West Coast definitely shifted left around this time. California flipped blue in '92, and Washington and Oregon actually flipped in '88. So I think Mario Cuomo would win all these states pretty easily because, like I said, they definitely took a significant turn to the left around this time and still are today. And I think it would take a state like Minnesota, of course, because of Minneapolis, the suburbs there, has gone Democrat since 1976. So I don't really see that flipping. Say Bush, however, taking some more of these Great Plains states like Kansas, Oklahoma, and his home state of Texas. It did go for him in the actual scenario, so I think it would hang on to it because of economic and social issues in the Second Amendment. I believe Georgia take Alaska. However, Mario is going to win Hawaii. Uh, I think Arizona went for Bush. but I believe Nevada actually went for Clinton, and Arizona did go for Bush, but I believe 4 years later it actually did vote for Clinton. It was only by a margin of 2%. Clinton actually, I think, did go like in Maricopa County, but Bush did better here on the western part of the state. So I think since Bush was able to win against Clinton, he would still win in this scenario very narrowly against Mario. Clinton was, like I said, able to win Nevada because he did good in Clark County, where Democrats do good nowadays, that have kept the state in their favor for some time now. And I could see Mario actually winning it too, but I think it would be narrow because Bush would do better, of course, in the rural areas. But I think Clark County would be enough for Cuomo to flip it since Clinton was able to, because, of course, Clark is a very working class area, and there's also a lot of Latinos there. It's where Las Vegas is. So I think Mario could flip it since Clinton was able to. I think Mario would take the Rust Belt here, mid Wisconsin, Michigan. Clinton was able to win them because of working class support, Upper Peninsula, and rural areas throughout the state. I think in the suburbs would be Mario would do great in because of, like I said, the backlash against Bush and his unpopularity from the recession and no new taxes, breaking that promise. I think Mario would flip these states in his favor like Clinton did. I think he would take Illinois. Of course, Illinois definitely shifted Democrat around this time, and this was the time that Illinois flipped, was 1992. It did go for Bush by a couple points in 88, but Illinois definitely took a shift to the left around this time because of Cook County and the collar counties shifting left. So I think Cuomo would be able to win it by a few points or so. Indiana, I think, though, would stay with Bush because of it being very rural. Missouri, I believe, was actually won by Clinton because of his performance in rural areas. I think, however, since I said before, Mario is more to the left of Clinton, I think Bush would actually take Missouri in this case. I can still see it being close, though, because of the suburbs, but I think Mario wouldn't do as good in rural areas like Clinton did, so I see Missouri actually going for Bush in this scenario. I'm going to go up to Northeast here. I believe Cuomo would take New York, his home state, where he was governor. I believe he would take Massachusetts, definitely. I believe Clinton actually won the whole Northeast, so I'll go to Cuomo. Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Jersey, which Bush actually won 4 years earlier, but like I said, these northeastern states definitely shifted left along with the West Coast around this time. And I think they would go for Cuomo since he's from here, the Northeast, from New York, Maryland, D.C. I think it would even take New Hampshire and Vermont because they did go for Clinton. Of course, 92 was the first time that Vermont went Democratic since, I believe, 1964. Of course, they've gone Republican all the other years, but I definitely, like I said, Northeast shifted left, and it's still like that today. And Cuomo being the perfect fit, being from New York, I believe he would take these states, as well as all of Maine that do go for Clinton. So I think Cuomo would do the same. The South here, I think Bush would actually win because Cuomo isn't a Southern Democrat like Clinton was. So I think Bush would take the South here. Virginia, he did win against Clinton. Still, of course, a Republican streak from the 50s up until 2004. And I think he would take North Carolina. I believe he did still win against Clinton. South Carolina as well. I believe Clinton actually won Georgia, though, because he did great in rural areas, kind of similar to Jimmy Carter when he won it. But I think Mario would definitely regress in rural areas in the state. So I think Bush would actually win Georgia because I believe it was still pretty close, despite Clinton winning it. But I believe Clinton did actually lose it in 96. So I could definitely see it flipping back to Bush because of Mario regressing in rural areas. I believe Bush would still take Alabama and Mississippi. Clinton did win Kentucky and Tennessee, and of course he had Al Gore as his running mate. I believe he's will go for Bush, however, because like I said, I definitely see Mario regressing here in the South because he'd be more to the left of Bush on social issues and economic issues, and I don't think the South here really like that. Things like capital punishment, I believe Mario was probably against, most likely. So I think the South would stick with Bush here since it's not Clinton. I think Bush would even take Arkansas, Louisiana, Clinton's home state. Because, like I keep on saying, Mario just being to the left of Clinton, I don't think it would do too well in the South. So I see these flipping back to Bush in this scenario. And Bush actually did win Florida, but it was narrow. Of course, Florida typically votes for incumbents, so I still see it sticking with Bush since he was able to win in the actual scenario by a couple points or so, though. West Virginia, however, of course, was a Democratic state back then, and Clinton was able to win it, having his Southern appeal. I could see Mario still taking it, though, because of when Democrats did great with the working class in the state, did better with the coal mining industry. So I think Mario could still take it, but I could see it narrowing up as of not being Clinton. But since since it was more of a Democratic state back then, I think Cuomo could still win it. Iowa and Ohio, I believe they go for Clinton because of his like rural margins and doing good in suburbs. Uh, Iowa was 43 to 37, and Bush did better like in the western part of the state, but Clinton did good elsewhere. And I could kind of see this going either way, but I think because of like the suburbs in the state, and of course, like I said, the backlash against Bush of his broken promises, I think Mario could still take Iowa in this scenario. But I could kind of see it going either way, honestly, since it's not Clinton. But I think since Iowa was more of a Democratic state around this time, they had a streak of voting Democrat from like the 88 to, I believe, 2012, with the exception of '04, when it voted for Bush narrowly, Bush Jr., that is. But I think Mario would take it because of the recession and stuff going on, and of course, Perot taking away a lot of vote. I think it would still win Ohio, but I could see that definitely narrowing up too because of his performance, like in the suburbs around Columbus and stuff. I think would be enough, and also his performance, like in the northeastern part where Democrats did better back then, but now is more Republican today. So I could see Cuomo taking that as well, and I could see him definitely winning Pennsylvania. I did vote for Bush 4 years prior by a couple points, but Cuomo definitely has his northeastern appeal being from New York, so I think Cuomo would do well in the suburbs in the state and flip like Erie County and do well with working class voters because of the recession and things like I said going that went on. And there's the final map. Cuomo wins, but it is definitely a reduced margin from Clinton's victory. He wins 309 to George H.W. Bush's 229. If you like this, if you agree with it or not, just comment below your thoughts on it. I thank you for watching, and subscribe, hit the bell if you haven't yet, and I'll see you next time.